Initiates for the flame. You are now programmed to drop dem draws. Have you been maintaining your flame?
You underestimated your child. You underestimated your child. You underestimated your child.
Peace to the trial and welcome. It's the Initiates for the Flame podcast. How we doing tonight? We all sitting by that campfire. Get warm, get toasty, roll you up that fire, bring you something to drink, have you some marshmallows, some chocolate, shit, bring you some food, have your dinner. Because right now we live and we finna go over our strong energies over the moon. We got a lot of exciting things for y'all today. But foremost, what's up with my brothers, man? You know, I got my brothers with me, man. What's the word?
What's good? Good evening. Yeah, man. Just here to rap about moon days, some astrology. Yeah, probably a little excerpt about the Bible as the 12 tribes of Israel relates to your 12 major glands, and yeah, here for a good time, not a long time.
Peace, you know what it is. Sacred Serpent, Sacred Dark Serpent, CEO, ssmedia.com, flameonshop.com. Yeah, man, we here, we back at it. You know, it's another day, it's an off day, but it's still an on day for y'all. We're trying to keep that flame lit. Let's get to it.
Ashe. Now, family, of course, you know we got to show you guys the website and let you guys know what things that we got brewing up, what things we got going on. And first and foremost, if you're not hip to the flameonshop.com, it's time you get into it now. So, of course, I want you guys to also watch out and look out for our arcane bundle that we have going right now. We always talk about the Thoth Tarot deck, and we always talk about Moon Day, going through our constant astrology watch, being our own seer. And for the people who don't have neither, well, here you go. For the people that's been asking for this bundle, it's ready for you, locked and loaded. Like I said, y'all spend $30 on that trade 5. You know, we made it good enough where you can get you, you know, still enough for your Zai and your book. But, you know, make sure these cards, because these are great for your downloads. These are great for you to really start and making a way to pave and understand deep esoteric thought, deep Kabbalah work. So, yeah, this is the key right here. Shout out to my boy Breeze for this hard work he put in. But, of course, for the people who already have the book, you can just lock in, just get you a dope tarot deck. I mean, we all have it. I keep mine with me all the time.
Got mine right here.
You might never know.
Got mine right here.
Disease. You know what I'm saying? I meet people on the day. I got people always say to me, bro, can you pull a card for me? You know what I'm saying? I used to have a hotline, but I turned that off because I was going nuts. You know what I'm saying? So I might turn it back on. Just let me know what y'all think. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, Tarot hotline, I don't know. I was getting hit with some crazy shit sometimes. People hit your phone at 11 at night. You know, should I meet up with this person? Where did you meet him? POF. All right. I got it. But honestly, if you sure don't want to go to POF days, you know, book readings with the initiates. You know what I'm saying? You can get real all 4 of us. And a lot of people who want to get tapped into monthly readings, check out our Patreon, check out our Discord. We do those type of things to help you just get locked in and loaded. I mean, how many times do you find yourself, being able to talk to, the astrologers and the readers 24/7 in Discord, being able to get insight from the things you just studied, or just a reading you gave yourself, you want more clarity and you want outside, it's gonna be us talking with you, but it's gonna be the whole tribe too, giving their side, giving their views, because we are a community and we all are connected to the collective consciousness. When we accept that, that's when we understand how we all are part of the cup and the water.
I should.
Because I know y'all love them light skins, you know what I'm saying? So book a reading with my dogs.
What you got against the light skins?
No, I said I know everybody love them. My homies are light skins. You know what I'm saying? I be setting myself up for wins. You got to work smarter, not harder. Find your community.
Yo,
Find your community.
that's a funny ass nigga. That was a low key jab on the low, but I ain't gonna say nothing.
Nah, man, because a lot of people love having dark skinned niggas in their life. You know what I'm saying? But
We not colorist over here. Like we need to put that out. We not colorist over here.
yeah, nah, fam, we not. Trust me. But tonight, we gonna talk about a color, all right, and we talking about the color of the moon and its beautifulness. So, of course, on this lovely moon day, I don't know what Monday is. Do y'all know what Monday is? I know what Moon Day is.
I definitely know what Moon Day is.
Okay, because I don't. When people be talking about Monday, I be having to lie, be like, yeah, Monday,
Technically, Monday is the second day of the week, and it's named after the moon.
Mm. So what we have right here is just a chart of the moon itself, right? We're talking about full moon energy, and of course, right now that is going to be on Wednesday, as you can see below what I just clicked, and up here is the full moon, which is going to be on Wednesday. But we're just focusing on this energy because as we are moon trackers, as we follow the moon, which is the most important thing to follow because it's the main object that's constantly moving. And in Sidereal astrology, we pay attention to more because we realize how much the moon has a stronger effect on us. Not saying all other planets don't play a role, but the moon is something that we should watch intentionally and deeply because it connects to our inner selves, and especially, like I said, it's one of the most moving planets. So, and a lot of times, the moon controls a lot of things that we overlook, like the tides and the waves, the nutrition that happens overnight that the moon brings. Like we kind of focus so much on the sun that we forget that the moon really brings so much heavy intent in our lives that we really overlook. So right now with this waxing gibbous energy, getting ready for this full moon, Breeze, what is like something that people should be focusing right now with this waxing gibbous energy, getting ready to the full moon on Wednesday? Like, what should they be tuning into right now, big dog?
Yeah. So I'm going to share my screen with you.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Hold on. Is it taking up the whole screen now?
No, you good. Yeah.
Okay. So this is the moon tracker chart for this week. So with it being a waxes gibbous, it's a time where whatever intention you had 2 weeks ago is starting to culminate, starting to come into fruition. And it's a good time to, specifically because it's a Scorpio, to kind of take a break, emotionally. I think it's been a lot of things that's been going on in the world, in the media, even in our individual lives, um, that is bringing us to a place of emotional unease, for lack of better words.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but this full moon is a time of like a little bit of a peace, and from that peace, you get a dawn of a new day. So that's how I'm looking at this full moon. And
Mm-hmm.
then obviously it's going to be very specific based on everyone and what house is transiting in your natal chart. So for me specifically, as you can see, it's going to be transiting my third house. The full moon is going to be um, at its peak on Wednesday, which is the Seven of Cups. That card represents emotional change. So you
Mm-hmm.
might have some type of revelation about life. You might really, shit might really be feeling like it's hitting the fan in certain situations, whether it was work, relationships, or you just wanting to expand more as it relates to like your spiritual practices. Um, if you in school, you studying some type of art, um, whether it's some type of martial arts, painting, sculpture, things are like starting to culminate. And for me, you know, I got a little bit. Oh, so first, I know I talked about it a little bit. I'm gonna talk about it again.
Right.
So today, this is where the moon is at in Scorpio. Um, And so the moon will go through Scorpio for the next 3 days. And then Thursday, Friday, it'll be in Sagittarius. And then after that, it will be in Capricorn, Saturday and Sunday. And the major arcana cards that correspond with these three signs is death, alchemy, and truth, or
Mm-hmm.
transformation, alchemy, and truth. So, you can also call this a transformative full moon. It highlights where you're changing as an individual. And I think it's important um, here to, do a lot of introspective work, because Scorpio deals with death. It deals with what's not apparent, you know, to the world, but what's going on with you internally. Um, that's the transformative energy. But you take that transformative energy and you bring it through alchemy. So now you literally making lemonade out of lemons. And then the truth of it will be the lemonade. The truth will be that new person um, that you see yourself as, or you see yourself as becoming. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, so this is the moon tracker chart. Go get Moon Day. You can get it on moonmystic.com or Flame Shop. Um, it has a 33-minute video that goes through in depth on how to fill this chart out. I walk you through it, literally hold your hand through the whole thing, teach you how to become your own personal astrologer. And kind of to reiterate what AD said, the moon moves the fastest out of everything in the sky as far as major, planets. And it spends roughly approximately 2.5 days in each sign. Granted, every sign is not the same perfectly 30 degrees. Um, but so from here, I'll take the meanings of the cards after I fill everything out that I get from AstroSeek. And over here on the right column, it talks about, or you just fill in, what tarot cards it will be going through, because the tarot cards is what's going to help you practice and study your own chart, as well as track the moon. So today it's in the Five of Cups, tomorrow Six of Cups, Seven of Cups, and then it's going to move on to the Eight of Wands, Ten of Wands. Then it'll move into Two of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles. And I take those and then I get the keywords. Once again, this is all about repetition. So you're just doing it over and over and over again until these things just become second nature. So all these tarot cards expressed in their meanings worry and disappointment, pleasure, emotional change, swiftness or new challenges, strength, opposition, and then once again, it's death, alchemy, and truth. Um, and then this last part is where I translate all of this into an easy to understand. It's almost like a self exam. I'll put it like that.
Right, right,
Once you get a handle on it, then you deduce it into your own language. So for me personally, it's going to be about shifting one's perspective from having such an emotional longing for the physical reality to one's own mental state and the renewal of the mind, addressing and confronting mental concepts that do not serve my soul. All this brings on change. And the key here is to recognize that work is required for change to make a positive impact on life. So it's mostly, for me, I just see it as, addressing the way that I think. You know what I mean? And through shadow work, through introspective work, honest work, truthful work, kind of like pulling the weeds from my mental space, removing things that don't work, that doesn't serve me. And I want to stay away from like saying what's right or what's wrong. It's only about what works for you. If it don't work for you, it don't work for you. Get that shit out of here. make space, hold space for things that work for you.
right.
And the first deacon of Capricorn, which is Saturday, the Two of Pentacles, that card is change. And then the Three of Pentacles, the third deacon is I'm sorry, the second deacon of Capricorn, Three of Pentacles is work. And then, that'll be next Monday, which is Four of Pentacles, which is power. So it's almost like you do your transformative work, or you come to terms with what's holding you back, the darkness that's within you. And that's going to be your ingredient for your transformation. And you take that into the realms of alchemy with your Sagittarius energy. And from there, so it's almost like, without saying too much, it's almost like you do that introspective work. You find a piece of yourself that needs alchemizing, right? A part of you that might be trauma, a part of you that might be something that you suppress about yourself, or something that you're just unaware of, and in Sagittarius, you make that a tool, you make that a gift, you put that aspect of your life in a place where it works. My favorite rapper, Nas, got a line on one of the King Disease albums. He said, come up with a new formula, a formula that takes every part of you to make. You get what I'm saying? So it's nothing that's necessarily trash. You just don't know what to do with it. And that's,
Right.
that's where the introspective work come from, but yeah, man.
Yeah, no, I really hear what you're saying, bro, because it's like now if you like really like just like take the whole key witness, because what you really just explained, the Scorpio energy that's like really in these cards and in this deacon, and like for the people who who need to see with their eyes, because I'm one of those people, right? This is the death card, right? And this is the card that really helps understand that Scorpio energy. And the death card, right, what Breeze was explaining was that deep alchemization and deep, like, so a prompt for this card that you will see in the reading, or that you deal with a reading, you'll be understanding that right now this is going to be something like someone who's going through their darkest hour, who's going through a level of transformation. So like you want to keep that, someone written in your journal, someone written down. I got it written down, I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a prompt that I know, like, okay, so when I see this card in a reading for myself or other person, because a lot of people, they probably don't know how to find that thing, to help them make change. But I told for the mastermind group, for the people who are not a part of the mastermind, we are still doing a free week trial. So join the mastermind group, and you guys can catch up on the call to action that I gave everyone this week. And the prompt was, I want you to look at something inside your life that you're operating out of fear of and how you can make that change where you're not acting out of fear, you're living in purpose instead. So a lot of times, what this card is speaking to, what do most people fear the most? Death. People are scared to die. So you need to tap into that type of fear within yourself that is hidden within this darkness. Because a lot of people can't face that darkness. And when you face that darkness, you can really give yourself the mental strength that you have to find. This picture is showing a man literally look like he's going to cut his leg, right? But really, that's just him showing the work and the efforts, him showing that he needs to get rid of something that's old, because it's really a symbol of Saturn. If you really pay attention, if you can really see, that takes like to see that you have to study the card, but to constantly remember that you have to have this image of Saturn just embed in your mind, right? And Saturn is representing that the governing works that you have to do, the discipline that you need, the order and organization that you need. The only way to really see the devil is to climb the mountain, right? Because that's where
Mhm.
the 10th house and the Capricorn energy Breeze was talking about. That's where that lies at, right? So that's just
Yeah.
playing in Scorpio energy. But
And
go ahead,
and
bro. You good?
just to add, like that's the it's the Grim Reaper, It's just
Right.
it's a different adaptation of it, but it's yeah, it's representing the removal. You know what I mean? It's representing, literally taking something that you don't see value in and moving it to a place that it will serve its purpose in. You get if you
Hmm.
get what I'm trying to say.
Right.
It was all about transformation. You know what I mean? Transformation, death is transformation. Um, yeah.
So another way, right? So I'm going to go into the full moon energy, because what we just explained right there was just Scorpio energy period through the Thoth Tarot card. If you want your own pack of Thoth Tarot cards, go ahead, check them out on MoonMystic, where you can see the bundle, or you can go on flameonshop.com where you can get the cards or the bundle. So, but the Thoth Tarot just helps us have a different type of explanation for the astrology and the energies through a methodization of activating our conscious minds and our subconscious minds. That's why this is going to be really easier for you to understand and be a quicker way, because you're using imagery to activate your mind. That's the best way to, you know, connect with the soul, connect with the inner mind, the subconscious mind, because it listens and reminisces and talks through symbols. Because that's what you're going to see in your dreams, in your meditations, the symbols. So what I have here is the moon phase astrology book, right? I'm a nerd. I got Everin, you know what I'm saying? So you should get Everin if you're really about this book reading and studying. But the full moon in Scorpio, right? The priestess moon. This page in this book was just explaining the depths of the energy of the full moon in Scorpio. And for the people who are also born in this, so if you was born on the full moon in Scorpio, you should come read this, because it helps us understand Kabbalistic mindset, helps us understand tarot mindset, and also astrology. Now, when we're talking about doing the alchemy and see beyond the ego and the self, right? The book is helping explain that the high priestess card, which we're going to get into, which is going to break into this, is helping us see beyond black and white. See, a Scorpio tendency, if you know any Scorpios, right, they're really good at seeing things like philosophy, the world. They're very knowledgeable and they're very in depth, so they can go deep into this stuff. And the thing about Scorpios is that the depthness, they're able to categorize the information and put it on, this good or evil, this how it shows. And like, not to say that's a bad thing, it's just that that's just the worst of the conscious mind seeing duality. But for us to go beyond the duality, we must see beyond the yin and yang, the ego. We must see beyond ourselves, and we have to go within ourselves. And that's what the high priestess card is explaining. within this, right? Because the high priestess is literally sitting between two tables, two pillars that represents what the yin and yang, or the ego and subconscious mind, or the conscious mind and subconscious mind is representing, right? The veils. So here's the high priestess card. And this is the two veils she's sitting between, the J and the B. And these also hold a similarity to another key, but we're going to wait for that. But the high priestess represents the deepness, and right, she connects to the pillar of Kether and Tiproth. She's located in the middle, and she passes through the hidden Kabbalah tree Doth, the hidden Sephiroth, that a lot of people don't talk about. And I'm not going to go super deep on it, but this represents the inner knowledge, the gnosis that we must gain to see beyond the yin and yang, to see beyond the duality, right? Because if we try to see beyond duality within the conscious realm or within the waking world, it will be really hard for us to understand. We'll be trying to stick our head outside the globe and trying to make our head explode and suffocate. So the high priestess represents the uniting intelligence that we must get from within that Kether and Tiproth combine, because Tiproth is the balance of the holy guardian angel. This is where the spirit resides. And Kether is like the crown. It's like higher is going beyond. It's like you literally trying to sit with Metatron and the be-all. And our minds, it's hard for us to understand that. But with Tiproth, we can't understand that because we have, the balance of the soul, the holy guard angel guiding us, right? Breeze, like when it comes to the high priestess, what comes to your mind when you see this image, bro? Like, what really speaks to you about the high priestess card that you feel like people miss when they're like working with it?
So I'm gonna relate it back to Moon Day, and it's something that I have in the book, but the moon. Wait a second. Okay, so the tarot card that corresponds to the moon is the high priestess. High priestess represents the deep intuitive understanding and alignment with one's inner self, the soul. She is the embodiment of wisdom and sacred knowledge, symbolizing the ability to connect directly with divine guidance. And that's what's represented with the path from Tifereth to Kether. Now Kether is basically the Fool card, and Tifereth is the Sun card. So it's literally your ignorance connecting you to your happiness, but that's only happening when you're in alignment. If that makes sense, because in a way, ignorance is bliss, but on a deeper level, like I said, the high priestess represents the ability to connect directly with divine guidance. Through her, we see the importance of turning inward to access the mysteries of our unconscious and the subtle spiritual realm. The high priestess reminds us that true wisdom lies behind the surface and requires us to trust our inner knowing, which is foundational, in our spiritual development. But that's what I would say. And then those two pillars, I think it's Jachin and Boaz. That's a funny sounding word to me. But
Jachin and Boaz.
Yeah.
Joaquin. It's Joaquin.
Joaquin and Boaz. Yeah. And I got a little something but it's in a little booklet, but it says one pillar is black with the letter B, Boaz, meaning in his strength, and the other white with the letter J, Joaquin, meaning he will establish. In strength, he will establish. That's what these two pillars are basically meaning. And in the front of Solomon's temple, he had Hiram build two pillars just like these. So it's also a biblical reference.
Hold up, Breeze. I want you to go back over that. You had said, so you're saying like this image right here, Solomon Temple, is connecting
Yes, sir.
to.
Yes, sir.
Let me zoom in for the tribe.
Yes, sir. Those two pillars. It's a reference to obviously Solomon's temple. The black pillar, that would be the one. Wasn't that the one on the that was the one on the left. Boaz means in his strength. Joaquin means he will establish. So in his strength, he will establish. I mean, that's basically like shit. You established in the power of your soul, or you're established in the power of the Most High when you rely on your ability to align with your soul. To me, to make the high priest is as simple as it can be. It just deduces down to your ability to channel and to meditate. And I love that it represents the moon, just not just because Moon Day, but because it has the air of getting your emotions in check. Because none of this stuff will work if you're mad at your mom for something she did back in the day, or if you wondering if you're getting cheated on, or you'd be having road rage and now you can't sit down and go within. Your strength isn't in the outside world, it's in your inner world. And it's up to you and you only to build that connection with the divine.
Ashe, bro, and I just got another diagram up just so we could just see these key similarities and just understand the symbolism, because our mind is not going to see this, but when we train our mind and we understand these things, then we can create the imagery and the connections, and then boom, it's like, whoa, like when you see certain things, you'll be like, oh, that's connecting to this. And it's like, then when you understand it within the body, you will like, oh, now I see how this is working. Because the body speaks all, the body is king. We got to understand the body.
It also connects with the three. It also connects with the three body theory and the three souls. So at that original picture that you had up there, you're looking at the inner soul, the oversoul, and the outer soul.
Oh, you talking about the picture you had, AD?
Oh, okay, I got
The
you.
Kabbalah, kind of like you saying with like the triangles on the Kabbalah, right?
Yeah, I got you. Here you go, Serpent.
So, like basically the astral triangle, because you have two pointing down, then you have that one pointing up, and it's like I remember hearing that top triangle is basically beyond the veil, and the middle
And that's
one,
synonymous with your crown chakra, the top one.
yes, and as above, so below. You get the first one, the one in the middle pointing down, representing your heart chakra,
Your heart
representing
chakra. Yep.
you know
Which is also your inner soul, which is your inner soul.
And it's almost like the top is the Father, the middle is the Son, the bottom is almost like the Holy Spirit,
Or the mother. We say the mother over here.
we
we don't want no gender wars on this channel. We say the mother over
here. But it represents how like the soul or the crown chakra, everything is an emanation off of that, that, and that's what I
or
get
how do they
from
say a fractal? Like a fractal.
Yeah. Shoot, we could do a whole show on fractals.
I gotta look. I got this one show where I used to watch it all the time. I probably rewatch it now just because y'all brought it up. But they had brought up this studying fractals, and they talked about how it was used in radios that the submarines and the Navy and the military used to communicate. And then but they used that fractal to find this other ship that contained this old Nazi treasure that they was trying to use and sell, because it was old and it was ancient treasure. So and then they had a whole list of what a manuscript what it could been on the boat, and the FBI was tracking it down. So I'm just saying, like, they put all this stuff into shows, but it's like when we understand the key things of these fractals and these energies, because it's like you paying attention to all the sci-fi crap, you miss the key things that's in our face that we can use to this day. Like it's in our phones, it's computers. Like when we realize how much this stuff is wired down to the bone based off our bodies and our energies, we'll be able to create and tap into infinite amount of things just based off of self-knowing.
Yeah.
And Breeze, you're an engineer, right? So don't fractalization and sonar and frequency reading for the radars, doesn't all of that connect?
Yeah, it definitely connects. And I would say it connects as far as, well, so I'm related to like the physical body, whereas and what AD was saying, you know, the premise behind like the fractal universe is that every single part of the universe is made of the same substance from a metaphysical standpoint. Everything is of the same substance. Um, and by being able to tap into your own biology or your own technology, you have access to the same things that technology is showing us. You know, whether it's flight, radio waves, just like our brain waves work exactly the same. Um, our physical body literally has an electrical charge, you know, and when that electrical charge is gone, the body is done. You know what I mean? It's turned off per se. Um, and I would also say that you really get in touch with like fractals when you take mushrooms and you go out to nature.
Got a white rabbit site.
Yeah, and
1000%.
and that's when you do have that what they call the ego death. That's you experiencing the fractal nature um, of existence, you know, in a mental level, and it's expressed as the death of the ego. You know what I mean? Because you begin to coalesce with the substance of existence. You know, even though you always and never ever are not the substance of existence, but you become more aware of it because it's the ego that makes it feel like it's separate or some new hot shit. Whereas is nothing new under the sun as far as that. If you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's what the beginning stages of actual enlightenment entail, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's that realization that, oh shit, like this shit is a part of me, like, and I'm a part of it, and there is
Mm-hmm.
no such thing as separation. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
that's the biggest difference with the matrix and this so-called reality versus when you start to incorporate metaphysical principles and spirituality, then you start to understand that all of this time you thinking that you are you and everything else is something separate, like you realize that all of that time you wasted because you thought the wrong thing. Like there cannot
Yep.
possibly be a separation between you and source. Like it just can't, it's
Mm-hmm.
physically impossible.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So once you come to that realization, then it's like, oh, now I understand the mirroring effect when you meet somebody that you never met before and they mirror your energy or they give you back the energy that you're giving them, right? Like you understand that all of these things are interwoven into each other and one just leads to the next. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to, yeah, I'm all the way over here and that's all the way over there, so it doesn't bother me.
You know, and like that's why like you see her sitting in the middle because she's seeing through it. You know what I'm saying? It's like literally within her too. So that's why she's in that governed part. Like if you see the cross on her chest, is representing that union. You know, and it's like when we go into the tarot, like not the tarot chart, but even the tarot chart, the tarot wheel, you have the body, which explains most of this, right? Because you see this triangle, but I want you to see the body in the layout because the body connects to each sign, each governing tool. So this is how you understand that.
So on the left, before we go further, on the left, this is like a fractal triangle, and it just represents, you know, as you keep on zooming in, you're just going to see more and more of that same image.
And essentially what you're watching as we're going through these holes is you're going through another dimension every time.
Mm-hmm.
And the dimensions expand. The more you go through them, they expand. They don't get smaller. They don't contract. They increase because your observation is what creates it. So the more you go through, the more there's going to be for you to go through. Sounds crazy, but this is the facts.
No point intended. Fracts. It's the fract. Instead of saying facts, I'm gonna start saying fractal.
These is the fracts.
No frack.
So let me see. So, you know, from what we was rapping about earlier, let's see. So I was talking about like how the 12 tribes of Israel can be related to the 12 glands in their nature. And so I kind of winging it a little bit. But okay, so the third eye, the crown chakra area, is the seat of the soul. The heart is the tribe of Judah, the line of Judah. And we know that Christ comes out of the tribe of Judah. Relating this all back to the physical body. So when you look at both of these, the heart would be here just around the thymus. There's in the Psalms too, it begins with, why does the heathen rage and imagine in vain? The kings of the earth and rulers carry on the same against the Lord and his anointed. So the Lord is literally the crown chakra, Asar, and his anointed is Heru, which would be King David. The Star of David is literally the Anahata, or the heart chakra. If you look at it, the Star of David is that triangle, the upside down triangle, and the upright triangle. That's the Star of David, representing the heart chakra. So the Lord and his anointed is David, and it's even said in the Bible that David was a man from God's own heart. And so from this perspective, we're looking at the whole physical body as the earth. Your body is the earth. And we can even look at it from a perspective of just, you know, astrology and how you can map all the signs on the body that way. But without getting complicated, you know, when it talks about the kings of the earth and rulers carry on the same against the Lord and his anointed, it's basically saying all your hormones are out of whack. And it's akin to basically, you know, fear, jealousy, anger, judgment. All of these Emotions correspond to a hormone, and basically when you embody these, or you're filled with all of these from all the different hormones, or all the different glands secreting the hormones that relate to like jealousy and hate and envy and things like that, you are basically breaking yourself away from the Lord and His anointed. Um, and so it goes on to say, they say, let us break our bands from them and cast their cords away. And it goes on to say, he who sits in heaven shall laugh and have them in derision and speak unto them in his wrath. And it's just basically the crown chakra or the third eye having to get things back in order. If you get what I'm saying, if you get how like I'm putting it all together. Um, so basically those 12 tribes are your jewels. Some people call them the Jews. They're jewels, literally they're jewels. And when they're all in sync, you are living in a um, very peaceful, blissful reality. Balanced hormones is literally where we want to be at. Because that's true happiness, that's true bliss, that's the absence of I'm even gonna talk about the negative ones. That's gratitude, that's alignment, that's peace, that's true love, um, that's charity. You know what I mean? That's respect. That's all those things. Um, but yeah, that's all I really wanted to say. It's just kind of like you know when you one way meditatively to get your hormones in balance. Um, in tandem with herbs is to focus on your heart and your crown. Ground yourself, obviously, but your heart and your crown work together. There's more um, neurons between the heart and the brain than any other organs in the body. Um, yeah.
No,
That's
that
all.
was fire, bro. And
Yeah.
I think that just helps people understand like the deep similarities of like how it connects to like us as the micro and the macrocosm. Because sometimes we overlook that, we forget that, and we don't really tend to see it as a whole so we can break it down, because that's what makes this a food for thought process, when we break down the information and just understand it. And then when we can put it down as a whole, that's how we can see the whole picture without being over consumed or overwhelmed. Because it's like when we try to get to understand it and know everything, that's when we kind of destroy it. But when we just
Mhm.
sit down, listen, and we'll get a lot of more answers than we never thought we could get, you know. And like it's a lot of and I'm just paraphrasing, but Rumi always said, and I'm pretty sure it's him. If it's not, I'm so sorry. But silence is God. You know what I'm saying? We have to really you sit in that silence and see what comes within it. And the high priestess is really within that silence. And like another, for all my Marvel heads out there, it's giving me a thought to think about Loki. Loki is like representing that masculine force, of the high priestess. But within himself, he's, the sacred feminine is locked away, is being unlocked, and
Or Doctor Strange. It could be Doctor Strange too.
oh
I'm
Yeah.
yeah.
preferable. I'm preferable to Doctor Strange. So you know.
Oh yeah, why you say that, bro? Help me understand that, because I ain't know
No,
that.
I'm just saying you brought up Loki and the High Priestess. I mean, Doctor Strange is connected to them too, so it could be him. I'm just saying,
Oh, that's tough.
you want to be
I see. I
preferential. You know what I'm
never, I
saying?
never knew Doctor Strange connected to the High Priestess, though.
Yeah, he always goes to the temples with the High Priestesses, bro.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, see, it's so much. It's so much deep. The coding is just like we don't see the signs, but people just use their imagery, imaginations to create. But the
My
one
thing
thing,
is,
go ahead,
my
gang.
thing is, Doctor Strange is Pascal Beverly Randolph. Who would we call Loki?
Mm.
Hmm. Uh, a skinny Alistair Crowley.
Nah,
Nah, see,
we
Alex
ain't
and
gonna get
Crowley
it.
like to play with kids, though, man. So we gotta get somebody else, man.
Yeah, we ain't even go. Yeah, that's a compliment for Crowley because
Word up.
I
That's a compliment.
I I would say to me, I would just put Loki with Eshu because Loki is just
Mm.
he don't even understand himself on a certain level to
At the
me.
time,
Like
he
Loki
don't.
is
Nope, he don't.
yeah, he
Facts.
don't even and he just yeah, man. But it's crazy when you talk about like the Hermes trickster energy, like it the shit that don't make sense only makes sense for that type of energy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know
because
what I
he is a
mean?
strong
Like,
trickster.
yeah, like yesterday is tomorrow for them. It's just like it don't make sense, but it makes sense for them.
Yeah, I got him as like a cross between Joker and Magneto. Like
Hmm.
like
Magneto, that's my dude.
he has a ridiculous amount of power, but he never really uses it up until when he gets mad, right? And every other time besides when he's upset or using his power, like he's all jokes, bro. He's all jokes. Like nasty jokes, but he's all jokes nonetheless. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
yeah,
He had Thor thinking his dad was dead, was still alive and shit. Like he he had them performing like wild LARPing scenes
yeah.
to honor him and shit. Like he won the war with the Avengers and shit. Like he is that guy, right? Like
Hmm.
he wants you to laugh at times when most people want to cry or just want to be mad or upset.
Hmm.
But at the same time, if you make him use his power, you're gonna regret that shit.
Hmm.
So what I have put up here is just the transits, just to go over those and just see the energies, because this is just been a lot going on, and I just want to talk about this one particular transit that stands out to me, and that is the moon opposed Uranus. And with this transit, when we think about Uranus and Taurus right now, we got a lot of just jobs, homes, like everything just being affected and changing. And I'm just speaking to the job aspect because that's one thing that people always is worried about or thinking about, or that's on their mind, or their career, just in that sense. And I feel like this could have been like some changes that people could be going through. People could have got actually the job they wanted after they lost a certain job. People actually come into those times where it's time for them to get a raise. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to see if that energy's just been going around for people, and just what's just been happening, because I just been seeing that happening just from just Taurus being in Uranus being a Taurus, right? Because we got that eccentric energy of Uranus, the change, so I mean it is referenced as the thunder god, in many cultures, because it comes in inches and flashes. So, I just want
Django.
speaking on that. Yeah, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Um, yeah, I can speak to everything that you just brought up in regards to work. I think it's a time in which people that have probably had jobs for a substantial amount of time no longer are holding on to that job as if it's the only thing. I
Mm-hmm.
think people are starting to realize and understand that if you can do more, you probably should be doing more. Um, I think the people who um, would normally do anything just to have a job and would probably do anything to maintain and keep said job, I think those people are also starting to realize that there's more than that fucking job, And I think there's a lot of people that just feel like they probably wasted a lot of time staying with that particular fucking job because there's a lot of changeover with people complaining about money,
Mm-hmm.
complaining about bills, complaining about inflation, complaining about all of the things that happen every time we change presidents. And but now it's not a matter of people being able to sit back and collect free money. Like now people have to actually figure out a way to be creative and to hustle and make said money. Like the last time old boy was in, they were just giving money away and motherfuckers was jumping on PPP loans and all kinds of crazy shit. But now every dollar has to be counted, every dollar has to be accounted for, and there has to be a substantial amount of reasoning behind the expenditures on said dollars. And I think this is a brand new territory for people because, just like what Hood was saying the last time we got together, how many people are really looking at their bank accounts and then looking at their bottom lines and then looking at their excesses and spending and then looking at their accumulations upon how much and what it is that they are gaining. Now people are in a place where they have to do those things whether they want to or not. And that's the energy I'm getting from this time.
What say you, Breeze?
Yeah, I feel like with the you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I feel like with the Uranus and Taurus is, to me, it looked like a generational wealth portal, you know, because it's making aspects to Pluto, or it's trying to Pluto, and then it's squared Mars. So I look at it as somewhat of a generation wealth portal where, you know, you either reaping what your ancestors done for you, or you doing the work that your ancestors could have done for you in the past. That's what it's looking like for me. It's also looking like a time where, you know, a lot of people are being pushed into retirement, um, and somewhat of a panic, because it's kind of like, okay, we got all these people that's been doing these jobs for the last 30 years, you know, but we got to push these people into retirement, and we got to give this younger generation a shot. Um, and I think the way they've been preparing for it is to get airplane, or to get AI to drive semi trucks, to fly planes, and things like that. Um, I think it is. I think it's a huge ending for how we see society. You know, I think it's really gonna like pivot. You know, in the next however long Uranus stays in the sun. I'm about to look it up.
So it sounds like you're saying the have-nots will have and the havers will have not.
Yeah, the first will be last. Last will be first.
Mm, I'll be up early tomorrow. I will be up early for the rest of the week, nigga. I already get up early. I'm getting up earlier now. Fuck that. The homie said the haves and the have-nots are switching places. I'm getting up early tomorrow, nigga. Ashe.
Then that just shows you that hard work always beats talent. Because at the end of the day, talent is illusion.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Uranus stays in the sign every 7 years. So we're talking about 2032. The end of this, you know, this transit of Uranus in Taurus.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when y'all say hard work and talent, that make me think of Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain was talented than a motherfucker, but he would never outwork Bill Russell.
Hmm.
He would never outwork Bill Russell. Like He could do all that flashy shit, score 100 points in a game, but you ain't gonna win no championship. You might not even win that fucking game.
Mm.
See the difference in that shit? Like
Yeah.
the difference literally is Tim Duncan and Karl Malone, right? Karl Malone's talented as fuck. Ain't got no rings. How many Tim Duncan got?
Wait, well, you know the thing about Karl Malone and the thing about Will Chamberlain, they didn't have
Oh
that
yeah.
that discipline.
They like to play around in the sandbox.
Yeah, they didn't have that discipline. Oh yeah, Karl Malone, that line is going
Sandbox. Karl Malone definitely in the sandbox.
Yeah.
But not to go off topic too much. Y'all heard about the rumors of going around that says Harriet Tubman wasn't a real person, right?
Oh yeah, I've been
Yeah, I
hearing a
heard.
You
lot
know
of.
that the same shit is going around about Wilt Chamberlain. There's a bunch of people saying that he never existed.
What?
All I have to say, bro, is what timeline are we in? I just want to know what timeline we in, bro. Because you got people telling people dead ass with a straight face that not only did Harriet Tubman not exist, neither did Wilt Chamberlain, bro. Like, we got to start having some real conversations, bro. Like, not Berenstein Bears conversations, but like real Mandela talk conversations, bro. Like, so much shit has disappeared from our timeline. I don't even recognize this timeline. I don't. You ever go outside and be around, like, just walk past a crowd of people and look at all the people and be like, there's no way that these are real fucking people. Like, there is no way. Like, literally, you walk past, like, these are straight NPCs, bro. Like, I swear to God, like, a gunshot could go off, nobody would move. Like, I'm sitting here looking at these people like, these can't be real people, bro. Yeah, I don't know what timeline we in, but yeah, that I'm sorry to take it left, but yeah,
Nah,
nigga said
that
Will
ain't
Chamberlain didn't exist, bro. Like that's crazy.
That's the energy, bro. You know, I mean,
I feel like it's just like a thought, but I feel like you can really tell if you jump the timeline early in the morning. It's just something about
expand on that. Expand on that, please.
So I get up at 4:30 in the morning, you know, and I'm at work working at 6 in the morning.
Okay.
And usually it's just like a different vibe when I'm driving into work, you know, because that early ain't nobody on the streets. It ain't even no police on the streets, you know, at 5 in the morning. You know what I mean? All you see is the flashing yellow lights, you know, the street lights not even, you know, so it's so much different. And then
it's sort of like Grand Theft Auto when the game first started out.
Yeah, some shit like that. Yeah. And then it looks different because you know, dawn don't look like dusk. It has the same feeling, but it don't look the same because the sun is in a different position.
Yeah, one looks like it's leaving, the other one looks like it's coming in.
Yeah, and it's just I don't know. It just feels different. That's all. I don't really have much more to say than that, but it's just a certain vibe on certain days where it's like something just feel off, and it ain't me.
Because you know your physical composition ain't changed, but the cells that regenerated while you went to sleep. So when you wake up, you can know you have to be able to notice the shift in timelines, otherwise you're disconnected.
Oh, so that's why I should be drinking the herbs and taking the capsules before I go to bed.
Absolutely.
So that's why I should be like taking ashwagandha.
Absolutely.
Going to Flame On Shop, then going to the White Rabbit, getting my microdose 2, the Cloud 9 capsule. Okay. I'm just taking those, bro.
Yeah, because I think Alan Watts said it best, right? He said, you know how an apple tree apples, right? He's like the universe peoples. You know what I'm saying? So we're not of this place. We come out of this place. You know what I'm saying? So the more we reconnect to this place, meaning nature, the more connected we are to source. The better it is to see through the veil. The better it is for you to notice when shit is being manipulated around you. A la timelines, weather, aka whatever it is that you want to think of outside of that. Anything man-made can be manipulated and has been manipulated and continues to be manipulated. Everything from your water to your fucking food to your weather, everything is manipulated because it's man-made.
Right.
You know when she is correcting herself, meaning mom, mother nature, right? Like you know when she is correcting herself. And you can tell when somebody else is doing some bullshit and trying to make it act and look like it's her. Like you can tell.
Ashe. What's up with the hood?
Chilling.
Peace, King.
Peace.
What's good?
Shalom, brother.
Much. Just listening.
No, you all good. You y'all see any other trends that really stand out to y'all? Because that was the one that was popping to me. Because I really been looking at that Taurus. I mean Uranus and Taurus, and then just seeing the moon lining up with that energy. You know, because these oppositions, you know, we gotta take advantage of them. Because you know they really tap in to a strong energy of change and like harmony that we can break through.
Yeah, it's a couple of things, you know, like Jupiter conjunct Mercury right now in Gemini. I think it's a great time to really, especially for those people that write and speak, it's a good time to probably reach more people. That's what I'm getting from it. And then it's the square Neptune. So it's probably a lot of bullshit. It's a lot of bullshit that's being said in the media that is causing tension maybe in your personal life. Because that Neptune is like a spiritual lifestyle, you know, and you know, a lot of shit is a distraction, you know. But I
Tell me
think,
how crazy that is, though,
yeah,
right?
Jupiter
When you would
conjunct
literally
Mercury,
have a legitimate argument with somebody about some shit that's going on TV. Tell me how crazy that is.
right? And the type of work you keep yourself from by indulging in that, you know, because it's
Yeah, it's
full
like somebody
moon.
wanting to, it's like somebody wanting you to pick a side between Haley and DDG.
Yeah,
What?
I got
That's like
fuck
isn't
them,
that in
fuck
reading,
Haley and fuck DDG.
Word.
Fuck them.
Fuck both of them
man?
motherfuckers.
Isn't
I
that
don't
like
think
in
it
like
have
in
shit to do with
literature?
them. It be people really going through that shit. That's why it's sensational. If it was the niggas that's literally having their houses and their lives being fucked up because a bitch is crazy, like that's why it resonates. Or the nigga crazy. Like people really going through it, but we don't have no way to talk about it in our personal lives. So we can project whatever we going through onto Haley and DDG and have
Hmm.
a viewpoint because
Yeah.
that's what niggas is really going through. Like people can't figure out relationships, and that's the
Mhm.
most important thing. Nothing that you're going to do is going to trump having a quality relationship, and if you don't have that, you don't really got shit for real. Because everything in the matrix is going to wipe away.
Hmm.
Whatever you build, Statue of
Yeah,
Liberty
I think you hit on
1,000 years from now ain't gonna be here. So it don't matter the shit that we build, the shit that we know, engineering feats, science, all that shit is just like a flash in a pan. But when you
that.
talk about like your quality of life, love, niggas can't do that shit. You know what
What
I'm
are you
saying?
doing it for? Yep.
How could you and then you see shit like you see shit online and you be like, damn, I'm going through that same shit. You know what I'm saying? And then you talk about it, and then niggas will be like, man, fuck that shit, or whatever the case may be, or niggas will start arguing. But I think the root of it is like niggas really be crying out for help or trying to understand
Yeah.
like what the fuck is going on out here.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's talk about it because I think there's a lot of psychological trauma bonding going on.
I think to that point, it's ironic that the Jupiter Mercury conjunction is in the Lover's card, the sign that represents the Lover's card. You know,
Yeah, I mean, think about how you could
But I think it's
fully
like
expand.
I think that square is like speaking to like the lack of God and lack of spirituality in relationships. Like I think that's what's causing.
Or the fact that not too many relationships have that as a foundation.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Like
not a thing. There ain't nobody doing that. God in relationships. That's like two foreign concepts nowadays.
Yeah, niggas look at you like you crazy. You bring up God. What? Oh shit, we got another Bible thumper nigga. Oh shit. We got another nigga that want to read scriptures. Oh shit.
Imagine you pull out a Bible on the first date and you start breaking down scripture and like getting the concordance out. You like got
Nigga, there
fucking
will
Ben
not be a
Hannes.
second date, nigga. There
It's
will not
over.
be a second date. You
It's
hey,
might not
over.
make it through that date.
hey,
Or
I,
you
I
might
look
find
at
your
it.
soulmate.
That's what I was about to say. I look at it like that. Shoot, you gonna pull that Bible out a bunch. There's gonna be one time when you did it. And you don't gonna have to do it on the first date ever again.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's real.
Yeah, I would love for something like that to happen to me. I just don't think the majority of people look at it that way. Like I look for inadvertent connections, right? I look for connections where most people wouldn't think a connection would be able to be had. And I think that's also the difference too. But yeah, there is no God in no relationships right now, bro. Women turn to God after they 304.
Whew.
And niggas start on God and get rid of it real quickly. The first time one of your parents try to take you to church, niggas like, I ain't never coming to this bitch again. That was me as a little nigga. First time I went to church, nigga, I was like, never again, nigga. And I never went again. But yeah, women don't transition to God until after 304, bro.
Turn that calculator upside down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Trying to reset the body count and shit. Talking about I was just born again 2 weeks ago. That don't count. What?
Hmm. What they call it, born again.
Mm-mm,
Yeah,
mm-mm,
man.
mm-mm, 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 mm-mm.
Think it's interesting too because that full moon in Scorpio will be trying Neptune as well. Neptune in what Pisces. Think it speak to like your what's going to transform you as a person. And I mean, this is like something that we know, but I think it's something to like grow with and to understand is what's going to transform you is your spiritual practices. That's what's really going to pull you out of the darkness.
Yeah, that and chopping that motherfucking head off.
Yeah.
Chop that motherfucking head off, nigga. Like that old nigga has to die. Like has to, bro.
You gotta think about like yourself as a sculpture. You constantly, chipping, mining, rubbing, cleaning, stepping back, looking, stepping back in, keep chipping, because you always gonna get this nice, great chisel, but it's always gonna be a new statue that you gotta create once you're done with that one. And like my artist gonna get that, and people who is not, it's like, why should I keep going if I get this fine solution? But like your ego is gonna say this is perfect. The spirit is gonna be like the habit is perfect. So you have to be constantly be consistent. That's what the spirit is in. When you look at nature, you don't see them get tired of, doing the things that's bringing them life and fruition. They do it because they understand it's a must, but at the same time, that is like the thing that summons the spirit, like because Breeze brought up martial arts earlier, and my dog been on his boxing journey, and I bet he can attest to that. As he's been doing this sport, you realize that when you doing these, even working out, walking, whatever, painting, reading, you're really summoning the spirit when you do you summon that type of focus. And when you build the consistency with it, you can change your life with that. And we tend to overlook that because we're never taught like that. So we can look at a lot of actions to summon spirit that we can live in the spiritual lifestyle every day.
Ashe. Ashe. You forget gym class was an actual class, man. For real, moving your body and just like it's just something that's like whatever you're doing, it's just something that's really like beautiful about just moving the human body and having some type of control over it, you know, being able to run and jump or being able to do a deadlift, you know. I think is I don't know, man. I just sometimes I just think it's amazing to be operating of the body
And I
and
think
how
you
you
can look.
can.
Oh, go ahead. Okay.
Oh no, you good. Go ahead.
I was just saying how you can look at astrology as like the body and really study the chart and study your body and have all the transformation that you need and go all the places that you need because you're working with the magnet. Like, so you look at Scorpio and that sexual energy, that alchemy, and you changing into somebody like really like that's really what's happening, and it's a lot of different things that's happening in the world with like ICE and these protests and all this weird shit with Elon and Trump. Like we gearing up for like a major distraction, but at the same time, it's also a very peaceful time. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
With all this war going on, you can have inner peace when you understand like the keys and the codes of doing this inner work through the mode of astrology. I just wanted to tap into that. Like people
Mhm.
think astrology is like some foreign science outside, but at the end of the day, it's the science of the body and how it interacts with the world. You know,
Ashe.
Shane, real talk, dog. And just like, when you also just do the studying, when you get your moon tracker and your tarot cards, you'll build your own prompts and keywords for each zodiac sign and minor arcana that connects with it, or you'll just have that established understanding for when you study your chart or you study any other chart, you'll see where each card is at, and you'll be able to, you know, understand the energy and the deacon way deeper just from your gnosis of the study, because you're building the imagery up, because the imageries are within the signs. Like, because deeply, as I was in the mystery schools, as we look at this astrology wheel, we see also protons and neutrons and atoms. We also see a clock. We also see an omphalos. Like when you really study the symbolism, you learn and really find the deep ways that you can connect life and different timelines to it. Symbols really talk to the soul, man.
Got Mars going into beginning to transit Leo. Um,
Yeah,
to
and that was in
me,
Cancer for Hellas.
Stay
huh?
right there.
That was in Cancer for Hellas.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't
And I
apologize.
I feel like this it makes me think of like being active, moving your body, you know, because you take
Get
that
you some more
that
pillows.
creative energy in Mars, that sacral energy in Mars, and you know that tarot card represents strength or it can represent lust. So
Go
it's
slow,
either you
please.
building yourself up or you tearing yourself down through the modalities of
Yep.
sex. um, and I mean, I just feel like this right here, this represents Kundalini moving up your back. where Mars is at.
Yeah,
You
real
know,
talk.
you know, it's a good time to really, really get active and really, apply some intensity with that shit, because it's gonna make a difference. It's gonna make a difference. You stay consistent, by September, you're
Uh,
gonna be like, damn, bro, I look good. you know, or by September you can have, you know, some fucked up shit going on, because you wanted to fuck on that bitch.
empty.
Yeah, like when we really get into the strength card, which
Mm,
resembles Leo, we can really understand how we can connect to serpentine energy and just use it to build up our highest ideals, in our mind. Because, if you're really struggling right now in
no
life,
problem.
if you watching the Pazon, or you attacking that mug, daily, and you a spiller, what I'm saying, you really destroying your essence and your ability to grow, because you really are like destroying your mind when you really think about it. So it's like when you
Thank
understand
you. You're
how
welcome.
you're misusing your energy, your life force, your chi, you are destroying like literally your brain cells, your growth. Like you having a hard time with muscle growth, you know, like a lot of people blame a lot of things that kill testosterone, but we never want to talk about the main thing that kills testosterone, and that is being a spiller. That is wasting our seed. That is letting that mug go. And it's like when we tap into that level of consciousness, because that's something that's hard to process for men, to orgasm and not to lose a seed. You know what I'm saying? That takes time to build. So it's just like to even process it, it takes another level of consciousness, because that's what the serpentine, the strength card, the lust card is really emphasizing right here.
Yeah, I'm past the point where I where I give niggas a pass on that anymore. We're in 2025 now. If you niggas ain't had enough sex yet, then you just done. Like honestly, like that can't be the end goal. You
Right.
understand? Like you can't get to a point where you do everything you can to get the girl and then that's it, right? Like that's it. You know what I'm saying? You get the box, you conquered that alley, right? And then that's it. You just rest on your laurels. Get the fuck out of here. Nah, nah. There's nothing that's worth it if you didn't have to work for it. If you didn't have to earn that shit, if you didn't have to put some blood down the line to get that shit, you ain't even gonna appreciate that shit anyway. So think about all the
Mhm.
time and energy you put into obtaining a particular thing. And at the same time, you ain't even gonna enjoy it. Think about how crazy that is.
Hmm.
So no, it's 2025. You niggas no longer get a pass on spilling your seed. You know, if you spilling that shit into a sock or something, good. You know what I'm saying? But if you just spilling that shit indiscriminately into different divine feminines, like, nah, bro. Nah. That shit corny. You niggas is whack. And we calling y'all niggas out in 2025 and beyond.
Yeah. Yeah.
That shit is corny and you niggas is whack. Niggas need to have 13 girls and you can't take care of one. Get the fuck out my face.
Ain't nobody
Not
gonna have no
sure.
remorse for you either. When that hammer come down, nobody gonna have
Yeah,
remorse for that ass. For real.
yeah. And that hammer come down, bro. Like, come on, bro. They call it the little death for a reason, nigga. You die a little bit every day.
You know,
Every day, nigga, you die a little bit.
this is serious, man. This is serious. And I
And
would
that's
say
why.
you better off knowing that you gotta stop than to be like, oh man, I don't care. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
facts.
Like,
Facts. If
At
I
least
think
be
about
honest
that
with
shit,
yourself.
yeah, if I think about that shit from a metaphysical lens, like that's the only lens I look through, like there is no way that I can allow myself to die a little bit every time for a bitch that I don't even like, bro. Y'all don't even like these women, bro.
That's
Y'all
true. Yeah.
don't like these women, bro. If y'all really like these women, y'all would take the time to get to know these women,
Right.
right? But the fact that y'all don't think it's necessary or prudent enough to take the time to get to know these women, but yet you're gonna put your manhood inside that, like you just jumping into the abyss, nigga, blindfolded. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. It's 2025. Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
I'm
One
telling you,
nigga
man,
talking about
Rob, when they
inflation.
learn when they learn that, that serpent, that sexual deviancy, that lower mind them earthly things, when they learn the other
Man,
side of that, is that where that $1 million, that mindset is gonna come from cultivation. It's gonna happen, man. That the other side of that hammer is gonna happen. That switch is gonna come, especially for some people in their lives, bro. I guarantee you that.
mm-hmm. Yo, I heard. Tell me what y'all think about this concept, because I heard that the story of Adam and Eve wasn't about Adam and Eve. The story of Adam and Eve was about the apple. What y'all think about that concept? They said the story was not about man and woman or masculine and feminine. Yeah, it was two energies that were all one. It's really just one being that you're sitting there seeing. It's one being and the apple.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the whole
Yeah.
story.
Yeah. Cause they was only supposed to eat from the tree of life. Life is
Hmm.
one thing,
Hmm.
and but they end up eating from the tree of good and evil, which is
Hmm.
duality.
Hmm.
And that's why the fall happened. It wasn't even I wouldn't even you know for the mythos we say fall, but it's really an
Separation.
outburst, a separation, it's mitosis, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like is that kind of thing is where that cell splits, and
Hmm.
now you begin to have, good and evil.
You're talking about,
Yin
and,
and
and we're
yang.
essentially talking about the XY chromosome split.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, nah,
From,
we
from
we we pass those concepts, bro.
yeah, no, for
And
me,
the thing too, like metaphysically, the tree of life is your spinal cord.
Hmm.
It is your spinal cord, it's your nervous system, parasympathetic system, and sympathetic nervous system. And then the tree of good and evil is the outer world. It's the world around you, it's the reality around you. And when you and so basically we spend more time, going to work, dealing with family. That's eating from the tree of good and evil, you
Hmm.
know. And meditating is eating from the tree of life,
Hmm.
just to make it, as simple as possible.
Yeah, chakra work, shadow work,
Hmm.
divination work, astrological understanding, um, 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 the Tao, Tai Chi,
Hmm.
judo. All of these are higher states of consciousness. All of these are higher states of channeling to get your consciousness to expand. Um, all of that is the tree of life. All of that.
Hmm.
And I think all of those things, and obviously you got to add Kundalini yoga in there, but I think all of those things go hand in hand because they all remind the being of whom and where they've come from, as opposed to everything here bringing you further and further away from whom and what you are. Right. So the more things, the more tangible things that you grab onto that you want more of is essentially tearing you away from source. It's tearing you away from the thing that actually created you,
Mhm.
so to speak.
My fault, I'm trying to fix my thing. But yeah, 100%. And like what I seen from that, like with just the apple, I see the androgynous being that they're trying to have us understand that we tend to overlook, because it's like when we see the union of what we're supposed to be, because sometimes like another way to look at the fall is like the split, right? But what this split was, that caused us to be separated from ourselves, that caused us this individuality, where we're stuck on the opposites of this duality and see man and woman, where we were supposed to be one combined thing that thought as one thing. Like we didn't think of man and woman, we was just that one whole thing. So we've forgotten it because we've been split apart from it.
It makes it actually fits. What you just said just fits perfectly, because when you think about it, what does man do here? Right? Man here focuses on what? One part of the brain, one part of the hemisphere, right? Logic, reason, right and wrong, common sense, blah blah blah, right? What's up? Um, but what
Right,
do
right.
women do here? Women focus on emotions, hormones,
Caring,
feeling good.
intuition.
Yeah. So both of us are two halves of one being, but we also only use half of our fucking brain.
Yep.
Yeah, until we're able to see that oneness, and like when we find that partner that we merge with and we literally become like them and embody the same things, but still have our differences, and then we can be in a higher level in our consciousness, in our relationship, and we can grow that because we see ourselves as divine beings. And it's like, I really can't control this person, but I
You
can
hearing
sure
that?
move them. I can sure create with them, especially if they want to be in my life. And plus, to Breeze, when he's talking about the tree of life, that's the one thing that they take out
Yo,
that you miss in Genesis is
a washcloth.
I think every day was the work team. But what I said is that when you think about the tree of life, it is literally skipped over in Genesis, and we need to see that tree of life because that tree of life is like Bree said, it's connected to us. It literally is our connection to the divine. Like he said, it's the 33 vertebrae that connects the spine to the lower bottoms of the hips to your disc. That whole part is literally just us, which is the Jed in ancient Egypt, what is connected. That's why you have Jedi. That's why you have, when they talking about Star Wars, these Jedi, these people who can manipulate the Force, who can be Force sensitive, who can literally dwell in the energy of the Force and read it. So I know I'm a Jedi. I'm very Force sensitive. Make sure you guys get Moon Day. You can't go wrong with that book. Just a really key development for the self.
Yeah. It's a practical approach to astrology. It's going to help you study your personal chart and become more adept in the science of astrology through using tarot in free resources on the internet.
Ashe. But we're just gonna end it right there, guys. It's been a nice, impactful show. We went over a lot. We're probably going to go back over a lot of things in the show that we covered just to give a deeper analysis and just understanding and overstanding, because these are things that we want to embody and lock with inside the mind. So I just want to say Ashe and thank you for everyone that joined tonight. Check out flameonshop.com, MoonDayMystic.com, WhiteRabbitSite.com. Go ahead, jump on ColumbiaExchange.com and just tap in with the family. Ashe, peace and love. We out.
Peace.
Initiates for the flame. You are now programmed to drop dem draws. Have you been maintaining your flame?
You underestimated your child. You underestimated your child. You underestimated your child.